Okay, I think we can deal with that and everything. I think we made a point there. Okay. I don't think the sound was coming through there, was it? Alrighty. Well, to the two people waiting here, we'll just get going on here, I guess. And I'm not sure if I got the video up yet that I showed where I got this, but yeah, do a little digging here on the get the put up the camera here. Well, 1000 Grissom and Bird of Prey model here. I've already taken the cellophane off, but that's about it. And while we're picking this apart and seeing what's what in here, earlier today, Trek Culture put up a little thing about what they see as probably the inevitable reboot coming of Next Generation. Okay, I like to think it's not so inevitable though, frankly, because there was a big difference between what happened with the original series and with the Next Generation others. The closest thing we got currently is frankly Enterprise, because that's the only show that got canceled prematurely. All the rest of them, Next Gen, DS9, Voyager, they had 7-year runs and they had proper finales. Now, and of those, the only really more to tell is DS9, because they left some things untied, unwrapped up. Namely, Cisco. When is he coming back? He said he's coming back. You know, and that's why when the what we left behind, they had so much to work with as far as like putting together, a season 8. They got together, and I want to see that. They put together a real good, breakdown there. But next gen, no. I haven't seen the video, so it's not on my. But I heard my wife was listening earlier, and initial reaction is, "Dear God in heaven, 1,000 times no." Leave that one alone for God's sake, because they told their story. They had their finale. That's it's done. Okay, which kind of makes the movies rather meaningless too. But some of the specific casting ideas they had. Uh, that put forward. I think he put Gal Gadot as Deanna Troy. Well, whatever. She'd be taller than anybody else in the cast. Doug Jones. Well, except for Doug Jones as Data. Well, yeah, fine, whatever. Army Hammer as Riker. No, I think his star is kind of gone now because of things he does weird with his cats. I guess. But the capper, I think, was Tom Hardy as Jean Luc Picard. Yeah, offer that idea to Tom Hardy and see how long it takes him to punch you in the face. Nemesis almost destroyed his career before he really had one. I guarantee you, the man has no love lost for Star Trek. Okay, and they had to do some little prosthetics things to even attempt to make him look like Patrick Stewart, and it failed miserably. He does something like Patrick Stewart. I think of all the problems with that movie, one thing they could have done, I think that would have helped a lot, is either have Patrick Stewart play a double role and play Shinzon and Picard, or bring in Ben Kingsley. He looks enough like Patrick Stewart. He's been mistaken by people in the streets. I'm Mr. Stewart. I loved your. I wouldn't. But what little differences there are, that could be explained by his upbringing in the mines and stuff. Whatever. And plus, they know each other. And Ben Kingsley is a big uber geek. That's why he does these weird movies. That's why he was in Iron Man. Why he was in Thunderbirds and Blood Rain. I mean, he came on to Craig Ferguson to promote Thunderbirds, singing the theme song to the old show. Okay, so they could have gotten him easy, and it would have been a much more tour de force there with Ben Kingsley and Patrick Stewart going at it. Yeah. But that movie had bigger problems anyway. So I think Ben Kingsley would have been a big fancy band-aid on a very big gaping wound. But just the whole thing, no, enough reboots in general. But Next Generation especially, no. I mean, frankly, with the shenanigans going on with all the cast, especially Marina Sirtis decided she's in the thing to start just telling off fans left and right. You'll be lucky to get invited to a con in Texas ever again, Marina. And as far as upcoming match, Tottenham and go Palace, okay? Go Crystal Palace. Stomp Tottenham into the dirt, okay? That's how I'm feeling. Keith McFadden, not much better. Uh, Jonathan Frakes has shown he'll go wherever the paycheck is. You know, that's why I talked personally with Roddenberry, and I think he's tried in his own way to try and keep him on the level because as far as what Roddenberry said the future's like, yeah, we're not doing that. And Brent Spiner is also shown to be kind of really, as far as the cast members who haven't embarrassed themselves, I think it's like down to Jordy. No, it's down to LeVar Burton, I think, and Cole Meany. I mean, if you watch What We Left Behind, which is available for free on eBay, oh, not eBay, YouTube here. Uh, no, they all lean to the left, but they don't make a point. They don't tell off the fans. They know they're not. That's not what they're there for. Okay. You get a little hint of it in the movie, in the documentary, but other than that, no. They mind their own damn business, and they're there for the art. Okay, and that's one thing. It's very much a theatrical situation there, where they're there to play the part. One thing is I love about Nana Visitor because she comes the dancer, And they asked about would do anything, would you like to go and dance number with it? Well, yeah, she'd love to, but she figured that Kara had two left feet, she could not dance. But okay, she's thinking about the character. And Avery Brooks had similar comments along the lines of just things about the character and the work. But yeah, let's start playing with these. One of the concerns I had was this bird of prey. And was this just the same snap together kit or the same bird of prey model day before? And I don't think so. I've heard before, like, no, it's a different kit. And I think it is, yeah. It's similar tooling. Of course, it's the same ship. So, does appear to. Actually, I'm with a knife too much right now. It's scissors over here. There we go. And so the beauty of doing snap kits in this situation is that you can pull them apart. Generally, pull them apart later. You don't actually want to do it for real. Put that in there. Now, I'd really need to have to get an. I think this is actually slightly larger than the one they did before with the Ferengi, Klingon, and the Romulan ship. Little 3 adversary set. So, I keep poking on what's going on. Yeah, I think it's as far as why would it, because it's expected. It's the reason why they did next gen movies in the first place. It's expected. No matter whether it makes any bloody sense or not. So I think there's a review in a local paper of Generations, and they made it's like the difference between like the original series. There was a kind of coitus interruptus type of thing, where it's like, hey, we ain't done yet. Whereas in this case it's like, and plus they were working on the movie, and the series finale at the same damn time. This isn't the day, literally. They're shooting stuff for the movie one day, and then and the finale the next. They're doing reshoots on the finale while they're still working on the movie. It's like the priorities a little bit off here, guys. Hmm. These are pretty sturdy screws here. So I don't want to. Come on. I also don't feel like doing an Anna and slicing my thumb live on camera. Just scored a bit. Okay, actually, I think one different thing. If I recall, I think the wings are actually each two pieces slide together. So these are all one piece wings here. So I was like, well, when are you going to do the reboot? No, there should be no reboot of Next Gen. If they want to go back to the golden oldies and do another take on it, they really do like what they were kind of pretending to do on What We Left Behind and start plotting out a return of the original. Because also, on Next Gen, the only one I think of that cast you could say who has died is Major Barrett. Everyone else is still around, is still working. There we go, got a wing off. So there is no need to recast or reboot it. And now, granted, Patrick Stewart, however, is kind of rapidly aging before our eyes. So there are certain people, they get to a certain point. I mean, they'll be going forever. Oh yeah, you're fine. No real change. And then in one year they hit a wall, where all the years kind of catch up to him at once. Patrick Stewart had a very good long run of being able to say, "Hey, yes, we're fine." Then, past couple years, he has gotten really, really old. He's not quite as spry as he was just say a few years ago. Like my mother was very much the same way there for toward the end there. She was fine. Then one day, when you suddenly it's like things are really catching up. She worked, and one day she did have that fall where it, broke several things there, and she never really recovered. Seemed to be getting better, but I think it's not the case. So my sister shuffled her off in a home, and that was that. And also shuffled me and my wife out in the street. That's not the matter. No. Because frankly, as much as they bitched and moaned about it, they're thinking, I think we kept her alive, kept her alive a lot longer. But my mother's tendencies were to kind of try and become a bit of a hermit. And we kind of upset that little scheme. But we can kind of look at it as look, if we had not kind of blundered into her life and kind of took over the home for a while there, she still would have been sitting in that one bedroom thing, occasionally talking to friends and whatever, but sitting there watching a little portable TV with really no reception because of the position of the condo. We get in there, and would my lovely brother-in-law have gone in to actually install that ceiling fan? No, probably not. They would have found some reason not. We can't get in there. But I found it rather offensive, frankly, when I found, well, they would do it, but they're waiting until you get out of here. That's not, no. So we went and got a ceiling fan. I installed it myself. that kind of going into you're punishing her for our presence. That is not fair. Okay. It is getting a little heavier than I thought it was. Yeah, I think there's a new molding for this kit. I think we're going to go with the down position. Yes, this is completely out of order. Put that on there, keep it straight. And one nice thing about these smaller subjects. Okay, howdy, them red rollers. By the way, if we ever get one of those any big spenders out there decide to show up and throw money here like they do at other channels that I complain about, PayPal, Patreon links down below, or a super chat right there in the chat. We are currently watching me throw together a couple of 1,000 models here of the Klingon bird of prey, and eventually get to the USS Grissom, although I'm not sure I'm going to keep it the Grissom. And me going on to occasional rants about my past few years. Complaints about my family. But let's get that in. Yeah, that's pretty well. Yeah, I think. Yeah, this does look like a new molding. I think it's following the same general pattern. But, oh, and also, I know. We can move on to the whole Star Wars thing with them introducing their new character, the Rock. No, not Dwayne Johnson. A little Rock. And yeah, the usual reaction has been one of unbridled laughter. And the conclusion that they're not even trying anymore. I mean, you have this guy. Writers openly admitted trying to be sort of 1990s Matthew McConaughey. I think in this case it's more like 1990s gay Matthew McConaughey. But the conclusion that they're not even trying anymore is I'll get to that. I'll get to that Enterprise D thing. But they are. Let's see. I think there's something more involved here. But they got this guy on a vessel they call the Vessel with the apparently stereotypical sassy black co-pilot and a navigator who appears to be a rock. Right. They have. Yeah, they're not even trying. But the more I think about it, the more really, it's actually really very insulting. Because one, they think we're stupid enough to really suck all this up. Oh, right, no, it's idiotic. Okay. And the narration, who I assume is this Ariel chick with she had the blatantly racist tweets about white folks, reads it like she's reading to a group of 5-year-olds, okay? And not necessarily very bright 5-year-olds. Put it all together, and folks, that's what they think of the Star Wars fans. This is supposed to be the property that's going to propel them into the future and bring in all these new fans. You think, well, at the same time, you think they're utter morons. That they're going to excited over, a character who is a rock. I mean, they could say a rock creature and just have an anthropomorphic, look kind of like the rock creature in like Never Ending Story or something like that. No, it's just a big slab. You know, and yeah, that's just the sort of thing you want in a battle situation in your cockpit. A big slab of rock, possibly bouncing around the cockpit, destroying things. Okay, how does this all go together? It's weird. Hmm. At some point, it's going to be, look up the directions, asshole. Let's see. Okay, about the Eagle Moss big gigantic enterprise. Yeah, $1,500 all told. When you're all said and done paying for it all, I think that's a big thing. So that price tag is a bit wow. Okay, I think I see how this goes now. This is weird. Okay, directions time. Okay. I mean, I think the thing comes out like 27 inches long when you get it all together. After 120 kits show up. I mean, the advantage of it comes with its own lighting system and everything else. So, but all right, let's take a look at yeah. Okay, I bust up the clear parts here. Okay, all the clear parts I think are on. Yeah, appear to be all on the Bird of Prey. So let's see, we need that one. Oh yeah, die cast, plastic, LEDs. Frankly, I think if I was going to do something like that, I would probably go with a smaller subject, like the Aston Martin or the Ecto 3, Ecto 1, because waiting for those parts, I think, will drive me nuts. No, I wonder what a situation I could be in before we even be able to put that anywhere. Get in there. There we go. And yeah, I'm not going to put that part on just yet. I think that the male would probably do fine on my end, but yeah. Oh, that's that little bit that goes in there. Okay. That's also a bit that needs. There's a good idea how big this thing's going to be. Whoops. Dang it. Yeah. Yeah, I've got a few Enterprise D, AMT, that's give you an idea how big this is 1000. Let's see, where are we? Apparently, what I've seen, you really need to put this in. This little bit doesn't really want to go in after you got everything else. So I got this, and I was out and about the other day. I had to go all the way back to Arvada to check our mailbox. And I hadn't been able to get, till now, till the Michaels over there. That I've been planning on getting to, but couldn't because of various situations. Mainly, our poor Ford Explorer It's currently sitting out there comatose because the engine decided to go bluey. All right, hold on. Where are you? Let it stick out. It sticks out. There we go. Yeah, I think. Yeah, there we go. Little Louis in the back there. I'm not really planning on lighting this, so I'm not worried about it. No, project I want to light are very, very large. Okay. And thankfully, they did reissue the clear Enterprise D at some point. So, okay, yeah, so I'm not going to have to pay $100 for that. So I got that. And managed to track down another of those, the light up versions they did. But the thing is, their idea at the time was to draw holes with the little pinion thing will hold the window, and the bit could never make it to the plastic. I broke at least one of those bits. And that's not what how they made it. They made the thing out of clear plexiglass and then painted it and scraped away the paint on the windows. I don't think, realistically, it's supposed to, the Aztec is supposed to be kind of subtle anyway. And that model is 6 feet long. Okay? At tape the model, the size of the model, you shouldn't see the Aztec in them. You should, or it should be very, very subtle. As in, you don't change it, you just do like difference between gloss and matte, you know. So that's why for like the Enterprise A, this meticulous Aztec, it's frankly way too garish because you get the long shots, that ship was just straight white. You didn't see the Aztec until you got right next to it and changing the color, the lighting. Okay, what we got here? Well, actually, I should be obvious. Let's see. All right. This should okay. Let's get this out of the way here. Kind of reminded of when I had the bright idea to try and build that old AMT Enterprise blindfolded. And hey, we know this thing can. Turn off rather. No, you can't build that blindfolded. Well, there we go. Yes, you know the thing left and right, but you got to see what's going on first. Okay. Get that off for a second. Someday in the hopefully not too distant future, when I start doing real build videos, yes, I will have a separate camera set up just to keep an eye on what I'm doing. Get on there. Okay. The advantage of the multi-tool here. Go. Get on there. And again, with it being a Klingon ship, so it's a little dinged up here and there. There's more. Right. It adds character. The Grissom will be another matter entirely. And again, this is really just to throw it together. No glue. Let's see. That's going forward. Going here. There. And that. And voila. We have a good chunk of this thing done now already. I mean, one thing with snap kits is that if you, for the most part, if you screw up, you can back up a bit and fix your mistakes. It also gives you a nice little dry run and when you build it for real. You know, finally, so put that on first. Then we'll put this on here. Yeah, that works a little better. And then, whoops. Yeah, and that's not lined up right. Okay, problem in that approach. All right. So works nice in one way, but not in another. So pull that back off. So lined up properly. And then try that again. There. Got a little thing here. I had the bright idea on this side to put this part on first and then try to get the wing on. Problem is, a little fin in here kind of interferes with getting that wing in there right. So you want to put this together however you do it, because it's a tough fit there. Then put the wing on, then put the whole thing on there. Prodigy, I still one guy in it was in Captain Foley's chat on Trek Yards talking about, and the one way that could possibly work is if it's set during the run of Voyager, and this ship is just one of them somehow got into the Delta Quadrant. That's how these kids find it, because the ship has to be well out of reach of Starfleet for them to really have a chance of doing anything. And that would also help explain, them having any kind of contact with Captain Janeway. Because otherwise, if this ship is anywhere accessible by Starfleet, then this thing should not last long as 5 minutes. Because once they fire it up, that transponder is going to come on. Starfleet's going to come running and arrest them all for piracy. So if you stick the ship in the Delta Quadrant in the first place, then you answer a lot of questions as far as that goes. It's like, okay, well, that's why they didn't come get it, because they couldn't. What did I just do? That was K8. K8 is on this side. Okay. Let's try it. How the hell is this from? There we go. That's how that goes on there, I think. Yeah. Okay. In a way, it's slightly refreshing to have to refer to directions again on a Star Trek kit. Because that's kind of what gave me the idea to build that one 18-inch kit blindfold. This is, don't even need the directions on these anymore. Just nope. Well, that's the way it goes, but it's not going to stay on there. So since I don't feel like doing anything today. Okay, that's as far as I go by that one. So I'll go back to the box. And somehow. I don't think these guns are necessarily going to snap on there. Let's see. Let's pull one off to me. Not good. I need a better situation to cut these things off without breaking them. So I think for now we're going to declare it done on the bird of prey. So put all this back in here before I do something very unfortunate with it. Okay, so we will get a stand out. Come on. Yeah, I would explain because none of these guys. The closest thing is one guy looks like a Talaxian. That's a Delta Quadrant race anyway. Otherwise, none of these guys. Where's the hole? There's the hole. Okay, and this will serve purposes if I for nice little visual aid comparing this one and the Enterprise. That's your size difference right there. These two ships. Okay. Get that all line back up. Put this bad boy over here somewhere. Okay. But if they have this, if these kids are these are unknown Federation species, and this is anywhere in the Federation, no, it would not last past the Google stage. It should have made Pets a pitch. Because Starfleet's not in the habit of just leaving their ships out there for anybody to come along and fire up in their little quests for redemption or whatever the hell they're talking about. Just get this stand out of the way now. Okay, put that together. Okay, so that's all ready to go. All right. I just, frankly, I'm not in favor of the whole idea of the Scooby Gang getting in charge of a ship. Okay. I mean, even small ships usually require a crew of, of several, more than a dozen. Okay. And of course, these guys know nothing about the ship. Then how the hell are they getting it fired up and running? And what happened to, say, assuming these ships have kind of internal security to prevent themselves from being taken over by a group of lawless teens? And actually, that the little lineup of characters. That's how you do a rock creature. They could look like some kind of being. Head, arms, legs. Not just a slab of granite. So on that front, score one for Prodigy on that at least. Yeah. But the rest of it. And also another case of I kind of resent this whole thing. We need Star Trek for kids. I grew up watching Star Trek. Look at this. I was 2.5 when the show premiered. I watched it alongside my dad. So Now, while I had no actual memories of this, because like I said, I was 2.5. I was not quite, wasn't quite 5 when the last episode aired on NBC. But I knew of it. I knew what the Enterprise was. I knew Kirk and Spock. And when the animated show came along, I knew it wasn't the original. And I watched it. And then that fine day in, I guess, 74, when the. Because, I'd occasionally hit reruns while flipping channels. But it actually went into reruns immediately once it stopped the network run. I'd occasionally catch one on like Channel 9 around like the occasional Saturday afternoon. It was never anything regularly scheduled. We need to fill a slot. So I remember catching a piece of like whom gods destroy. Right at where Spock is. Garth, this guy, this Spock. Is doing his thing with Kirk. Trying to give the code up. Or the Doomsday Machine, where it's like I come in halfway through. I didn't know what was going on. I see Matt Deckard going into the Planet Killer with it making all kinds of faces, but like I might have say paying close attention because I was like 6 or 7. So it wasn't until that big thing, and then it started running on weekdays at 4 o'clock on Channel 4. I thought it was appropriate because that was the NBC station at the time. Now it's CBS because of a big, massive, weird deal that affected a couple of stations back east somewhere decided to change it for that, and it just upset the entire paradigm. Now there we go. Here's the lower half of Grissom, and I'm in the camp. I'm not the only one. I'm not making this up. Other people come to this thing, but the Oberth class starship is really just the top part with the saucer and the nacelles, and it's really just kind of a pickup truck type of ship. And this is one of the various modules you attach to it. How do they get down there? They don't get down. This is the sensor pod. Other would you attach like a big cargo thing to it, or something like that, or a weapons bay. But as far as what is the Oberth class ship, it's just the saucer and the thing, and you just attach things to it underneath it. Okay. Okay, the 18-inch kit. If you just want a simple chip to go, whatever. I'm kind of picky when I get those. I go for the older kits before they, you know, change the molds. Because I'll tell you what, Max's models is got a real good video on the history of the Star Trek kits he's put up. But as far as that Enterprise kit, J.M. Klodek on the YouTube channel. Between the article he wrote for Cult TV, Cult Model, and a series of videos he did, which are still up, they pretty much define everything on there of the history of that specific kit. They hit all the high points in it. And one thing I wish they would, but that's a deep dive for geeks like me, is how to determine one version from the other in these older kits, because they AMT really didn't change the kit number very much from variant to variant, which is rather annoying when you're trying to find the The later short box version, because basically the one I really like, the version I like, is where still all the exterior details are still pretty much the same. Still got the homing beacon on the back by the shuttle bay. Still got the deflector housing more or less properly. And they got the big dish, but they've changed the attachment of the nacelles from that weird little thing where you slip on the kind of lodgings through the slot, through the loop thing, which never worked, always broke. And they changed it to sort of they put kind of a slotted thing on the bottom of the strut, and they went into it for a half moon piece inside the hull. That one I think worked pretty well. You could get the nacelles positioned right. Here we go. And it's a very secure fit, They've had to reclaim a couple, Like there's one model that I'd gotten at. It was an older build, so I had to take it down to completely nothing and rebuild it. But it was one of these, turns out. And the thing is, that one you got to pay attention because things you put that part in backwards though, and the cells aren't going to line up to save your life. You do have to pay attention. There's a slight bevel on that piece to match up which way the hull is going. And if you mess that up, you messed up your entire model. Spin that around. Now, what would really be nice is sort of a hybrid thing. Because there's a one rather rare variation on that 18-inch kit where you had one, because normally the early ones you could light up the bridge and the lower sensor dome. But for a little while there, they added in transparent orange Bussard, front domes of the nacelles. You can light those up. So those are rare and those are legitimately collectible. A lot of people they'll take a kit from like 1983, put $100. You're an idiot. But you get one of these from like 68, with you have those light up nacelles. That legitimately is worth some money in my book. Because that was a rare version. Okay. Engines appear to be pretty much interchangeable, so I'm not that worried about it. But if I could get one with those light up nacelles, and now there was no version made this, but you cobble together something with the light up nacelles and that half moon situation, the connection points, that would be good. And I think I'd probably have to work it up myself there. Which means we're going to have some sort of mounting thing for the light in the nacelles because nobody fixes the rest of the way. Okay, all right. Get out of the Klingon bird of prey directions. These are all the directions here for the Grissom. That's it. One page. One sheet. 3 pictures. So, yeah, the engine's completely interchangeable. only one thing of directions for the engine. So like either one. This is where it gets so tricky. Now, I suspect when they did design this shit, they probably, oh yeah, that's the engine on it. No, no, no. Think about it. Those nacelles are too damn skinny to even support a ladder to crawl down there. So unless you got a closed circuit transporter system, no one's getting down there anytime soon. This, that, nope. Back. Oh. Hmm. That is a bit of a puzzle. Okay. That's gotta go. And they're both the same. So let's see. Hmm. Tell you what, let's put the grill bit together first. Oh, I've got the Rick Sternbach blueprints. Yeah, the massive blueprint. And as you can see, cetacean ops. Little pictures of dolphins swimming around. I've also got downloaded on here in a few is the Ed Whitefire original idea because he drew up internal plans way back when. He had some different ideas for what went where. I think part of it was the arboretum under the big windows on the saucer. Seemed with a big component contention over that one. Okay, how are we gonna put this here? Yep, like that. Itty bitty engine parts here. Come on, line up, you son of a. No, it's got to be right. Hmm. And for the record, Hobby Lobby is a much better model department than Michael's. I mean, the models are nice, but there's not much there. Okay. What I really want though is to get back down the coal part one of these days. Okay, so I think I'm gonna put. So which one does this line up with? Gotta be that one. Is there supposed to be like a key holder? All right. Here's a little mystery of the universe here. Oh yeah, they mentioned cetacean. It's a throwaway joke where they could, they did write in, cetacean out. There's dolphins working in the navigation thing, and apparently we're actually going to see it at some point. Okay, little thing. This little peg has no reason for being right here. See that sucker right there? It's just clogging up the works here. So, okay, get that off of there. And again, I really don't feel it. There we go. Pulling an anna here and slicing my finger open. So now we stick that right there. Am I doing this right? No, I couldn't. I wouldn't look that way. Or there we go. All right, I may have just done something stupid. All right. Yeah, that's it. All right, and I just cut off the key pins there. Yeah. So, never mind what I just said. That pin actually there's a reason. I had it backwards. There we go. So this nacelle is just a little bit wild, so that's going to be glued down eventually. There we go. Yeah. All right. Get the other piece. All right. You take care of yourself there. Anybody else care to chime in? Feel free. Unfortunately, Stephanie is having a nap right now, so she can't. So sending out invites to other people to try and come in and say, "Hi, it's not." Would be a bit problematic. All right, so out of the way. Better forewarned with the knowledge of how this goes together. That, that there. Okay. And then that goes together like that. And that's how that engine goes on there. And then it attaches little holes there, little pins there. And voila. Take care of the extraneous stuff here. All right. As I was saying earlier, in my opinion, this is the Oberth class starship. That's all of it right there. This is an add-on. This could just easily be a cargo bot, or a colony thing, or towing another ship. Like for instance, let's bring back the Enterprise here. I get the Enterprise A, but it's out of reach of the so let's say we got this guy. She's out of power. This guy comes along, hooks on somehow, and tows her back to port. Yeah. Or however, just gonna tow package on there. In this case, the Grissom, and actually every over class we've seen, apparently, has been fitted with these big sensor pods. And here's where we got an issue. It doesn't want to go in. Let's take the engine off for a bit. We really don't want to mess them up. Now, let's take this here. Does not want to go together. And let's see. Hell. Normally, going an hour here and nothing going on, I would end this, but I want this on camera. When I finally get this thing in here, this is be a booger. Ah, damn. Thing is, there's not much to grab onto here, so hard to get a grip. Let's try that. Thing is, the tab is slightly bigger than the hole. Dual. Looking that way. All right. Angle in a bit. Oops. There we go. And the next one. No choice. You're committed. Get in there. I'm gonna do a Happy Gilmore thing. That whole slide shit home. Don't you want to go home? Come on. Almost there. Almost there. Come on. Halfway in. There we go. Haha. It's in. So a little tension setting wise, but get the engines back on here. Oops. The hell, dumbass. Back on there. What? Hold on. I'm kind of gratified. This is my first experience in building one of these cluster ships, and not one of those great big gigantic vacuum form models. There we go. Here's the over. As to which one it's going to be yet, I don't know because they have a variety of decals available. I think I'll go ahead and call it there. So, for those coming in afterwards to watch this, PayPal, Patreon, links down below. And we'll talk at you later.